Hey, everybody. I'm Jen Garrett. My passion for football and pushing boundaries has helped me to create a successful business using the same performance-building principles of the world's best players. Through my Move the Ball book, workshops, and consulting work, I've used the same system to help thousands of people to think and execute like a pro athlete when it comes to business and branding. Now, I'm on a mission to help you utilize those tools and strategies to elevate your hustle and get you across the goal line. So get ready. It's time to suit up, to show up, and to move the ball. Hey, everyone. It's great to be back with you for another episode of Move the Ball. If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you've been a part of the Move the Ball movement for quite some time, welcome back. As you all know, this podcast is all about business, branding, sports, and of course, how to move the ball. This episode is part of my special Path to the Draft series, where I'm having conversations with NFL draft prospects on their path to the draft. Now, if you haven't yet subscribed to the podcast, make sure that you do so that you never miss an episode as part of this series, as well as the regular show. I've got a great lineup of guests for this season. All right. For today's episode, Inside the Huddle with us, and ready to share his story and talk about his path to the draft is Ed Ingram. Ed is an offensive guard who played college football at Louisiana State University. During his time at LSU, he was a four-year starter on the offensive line for the Tigers, appearing in 45 games, starting in 34. He was named All-SEC by the SEC coaches in 2021, and Ed was also a member of LSU's 2019 CFP National Championship Team. We will talk about all of that and more on today's episode. Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you. It was great getting to see you during the NFL Combine in Indy, and I've been looking forward to us getting back together and talking today. So appreciate you being here with us.
No problem.
You know, when I saw you, you were getting ready for the big day. You were training with Les Spellman. Shout out to Les. He's definitely one of the best and knows how to move the ball. And you were also down in Texas with Les and Sports Academy for PreCombine Training. Can you share with us, like, what were some of the things that you were really focused on down there? And also share what was your routine like? Because I don't think a lot of people are familiar with how much work goes into getting ready for the Combine.
So I guess the routine, a lot of people don't know, like right after my last game, I ended up having to fly right to Dallas right after my last game. And I had to move into an apartment, and then I had to go to the facility. And every day at the facility, I wake up around like 5 o'clock. We have 6 o'clock workouts with Duke. And so we'll do a warm up, and then we'll have a weightlifting session in the morning, have some time off, come back for some speed and agility with Les Spellman and Cece. And then we have some more time off. And then the last block of the day will be Duke Manyweather doing drills and pretty much recovery after that. And so I think my biggest focus was pretty much trying to stay in shape, get in as best shape as possible, eat healthy, and kind of lean down. And that's what I did. They put me on a meal prep program where every day there's kind of forcing meals in me, making me eat healthy, and it allowed me to take my meals home. I feel like that was my biggest thing I was working on, just trying to like build more muscle and lean down.
Sure. And now I mentioned that you're an offensive lineman. In your mind, what do you think are the most important things to be successful at your position? And then what makes you elite?
I feel like the most important things are pretty much being a smart player, being able to adjust on the field. As an offensive lineman, especially on the next level, you have to be able to adjust with different play calls and the move of a play. You also have to have athletic ability, being able to move another 300-pound man off his block and open clear ways for the running back. So I feel like those are like the two biggest factors.
Sure. Now, I want to run it way back. You're from DeSoto, Texas. Tell us, how did you get into football, and what about it made you fall in love with the game?
And so I started in Little League probably when I was like 7 or 8. My mom just put me in football. It was never a dream of mine to play football or nothing like that. She put me in football just to kind of just get me at the house and just give me something to do. After that, I wasn't really that mainly focused in football. But then when I came to high school, my 9th grade year, when my offensive line coach, he saw me, he was like, dang, this kid can be good. And so he kind of molded me into the player I am today. He allowed me to train with varsity. They moved me up to varsity early as a sophomore. I was starting on varsity. And pretty much he was just hard on me just so I could be ready for the next level, which was college, so that I can take coaching and just pretty much I was always a physical person, so he just kind of brought that out
my listeners know that the whole Move the Ball movement started with a book that I wrote about football called Move the Ball. And in that book, I wrote about a lot of strategies and principles that I had taken away from the game, being a student of the game since I was 4 years old. What are some of the lessons that you've taken from the sport of football that you think are necessary to help you succeed and thrive in the NFL, as well as to just be successful in your professional career?
I would say just don't take everything serious because a lot of people get to this level and be like, man, I have to fight for a job and all this stuff. But if you go into that with this mindset, you just stress yourself out. So me, I got a plan. I'm not stressing about anything. I'm having fun with it. So just having fun and knowing that it's easy. I mean, you learn the playbook. You've been learning playbooks for your whole life, and so this is just another playbook that just have some extra verbiage added to it. So just going into it with just an open mind and just having fun with it.
I like it. It's important to have fun for
Yeah.
sure. Now, you're definitely someone who knows something about winning. You were a member of the 2016 Texas 6A Division II state championship team. You know, you helped lead DeSoto to a perfect 16-0 record that year. What was key for your high school team's success?
It was just pretty much just all of us just staying together as a team, and we was already all close together because we all grew up with each other, and I felt like that was the closest team that I've ever been on prior to the 2019 team, and so I feel like everything just kind of came together. We was good, we had good players on defense, offense, and we all trusted each other, and that's what led us to 16-0.
Love it. Now, coming out of high school, you were listed as the eighth best offensive guard in the nation, 17th best prospect in the state of Texas. You drew a lot of interest from Power Five schools, had offers from Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas, and Mississippi State. Didn't go to any of those schools. You went on an unofficial visit to Baton Rouge that sealed the deal for you. You committed to LSU. Talk to us about that trip and how did you get to saying, I'm going to go be a Tiger?
So pretty much I had narrowed it down to TCU, Baylor, Alabama, and LSU. And the reason I didn't go to Baylor or TCU, at the time Baylor was going through a coaching change. I was really considering going there. It's close to home. And then TCU had a program similar to my high school program. But I just kind of let that go because I wanted to go out of state and be a little bit further away from home. And so when I visited LSU, it just felt everybody was genuine. They wanted to see me succeed, whether it was at LSU or some other place. And I just felt a connection as soon as I went there. My mom, she actually wanted me to go to Alabama or some other school because of the graduation rate at LSU was low.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because most athletes, they do 3 years and they're out.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my older brother, we ended up convincing my mom. We was on the way to Alabama spring game. And my brother was like, you know what, let's stop by LSU since it's on the way. So she stopped by LSU and she just fell in love with it. And we never ended up making it to Alabama. And I ended up committing that same day. Alabama was a little pissed, but, it's part of the process.
Well, as an Alabama alum, we would have loved having you, but it was great seeing you. Great seeing you go to LSU and obviously have a great career there and win the Natty, which we'll talk about in a minute. But before we get there, so let's just talk about, playing at LSU in general. Tell us about your experience there. Like you're a freshman, you end up starting, you played just after one game, you became the team starter at right guard. And then you started the rest of the season as a true freshman. Like, what was that like for you? Tell us about that experience.
It was a great experience because a lot of freshmen don't get the opportunity to come in and start straight out the gate. And I came in with the mindset that, hey, I want to start. I'm going to beat out anybody that I can to get the job. And so I came in focused. It was a new thing for me. I had to come in going against a lot of older guys that have been playing a lot of football in college. And just come in and I just wanted to gain everybody's respect. And so I gained everybody's respect, learned the playbook, got in extra sessions with our assistant GAs and stuff like that, just so I can get the playbook and it would be easier for me, an easier transition. It was a fun experience. Sometimes it was hard because I was going against people like Derek Brown as a freshman. And I still remember one play where he drove me to the back of the field. O-line coach was yelling like, Ed, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't do nothing about it. I mean, I'm not that strong yet. I mean, he has had a year going through the Auburn program, and so he's already gotten stronger. And so that's something I felt like coming out of that I would work on.
Sure. Now you played both left guard and right guard during your career at LSU. People refer to you as being a versatile offensive lineman, strong, powerful run blocker. You can move defensive linemen off the line of scrimmage. Like, what were some of the things that you did while at LSU to ensure that you would be a high performer and be a real contributor to the team?
I was just kind of getting extra work outside of the work that we had to do. So like on the weekends, I'll come up, get some extra running in, or just grab a couple of guys, just do some drill work on the weekends, and that's kind of how I molded our offensive line and how we kind of came together, just pretty much doing the extra work together.
Now let's talk about the 2019 season. Incredible season, won the Natty. Tigers ended up being 15-0 that season, beat Bama, and and it was just a great season for the Tigers. So, tell us about that year for you.
That year was fun. It was like a movie. I never thought it was going to end. I never wanted it to end. But like just being able to be a part of such a legendary team and be a part of like all these great players around me that have done well in the NFL right now, it was amazing. Then getting the opportunity to go to the White House. Not many people go to the White House and just shake the president's hand and take pictures with him.
Mm-hmm.
That was an unforgettable experience.
Oh, for sure. And you mentioned there's some very talented guys on that team with you who are in the league today and are thriving. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. You've got, Justin Jefferson, Christian Fulton, Grant Delpit. Like, there's just so many great guys that are on that team with you. When you look at that team, what is it about those guys that made them great and what made this team special?
Everybody trusted each other. We all had each other's back. And it was just like a crazy brotherhood that I kind of got a glimpse from 2016 when I won state. It was just everything came together. We had all the pieces. We had amazing athletes, and everybody gelled together. We all had a mission, a plan, which was to win the national championship, and we all bought in that year.
And when you look back on your college football career, what was the most memorable moment for you playing during your final year of college football? And we'll come to the Natty in a minute because I don't want you to say the Natty.
I wouldn't even say the Natty, which was crazy because the national championship game was fun. But this past year, when we played against Florida and just imposed our will on them at our home game,
mm-hmm.
that was just an amazing experience. That probably topped the Natty game for me just because the whole year people was down in the offensive line and saying that we couldn't run the ball at all and stuff like that. And so just having that moment to where we was just imposing our will and they couldn't stop the run game was amazing. And getting our running back to break a school record was crazy.
So now let's talk about the Natty a little bit. Tell us about what it was like going into that game and then ultimately beating out Clemson. And I very much was rooting for SEC, got to show love. So I was very happy that the Tigers were able to pull them off. Obviously, Alabama and Clemson have some other history. So It was great to see you guys win out. So tell us about that experience.
We went to the game having a mindset that we was going to win a game, but not underestimate Clemson because they had a lot of smaller guys, but their guys, they played hard and played through the whistle. And so we just focused on just picking up all the blitzes and stuff that they was going to throw at us. And a couple of times they gave us bad field possession. We was right there like on the one a lot of the times because they kept punting the ball. And so that kind of put a little hiccup on our step, but we still had a mission. We all stayed focused and know that we was going to win that game. So after we got going, we just didn't stop. We just kept scoring. It was a fun game. I mean, a lot of people don't get the chance to play on that stage.
And so when you woke up the next day, like, how did it feel? What did you think?
I woke up the next day wanting it to not be over. I wanted it to be the national championship game again, just because I knew that after that game, those guys were going to be leaving mm-hmm. and pursuing a career in the NFL. And I didn't want it to end.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure you formed some great bonds. It was a great year, lots of wins. And so an incredible experience for sure. So let's fast forward. So you're getting ready for the NFL draft. Part of the path is you ended up going to the Senior Bowl. You were with 3 other LSU players that were there. You were named specifically top player for your position for the American team. So congratulations on that. Well done. Talk to us about that week. I mean, Senior Bowl is not just there's the game, there's practices, there's interviewing with teams, networking. Like, what was that like for you?
It was a little hectic, just like day one. We came into it and we had interviews from 7 to 11 o'clock, and that was interviewing with 16 teams. And that was kind of a shell shock because I've never been in that setting and had to like force myself to talk for that long. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we got the playbook the same night that we had to do all those interviews. So we didn't have time to really study it. And we had to wake up at 6 a.m. the next morning to get ready for practice and stuff like that. So just learning the playbook and just being able to get the cadences and all that stuff down, it was a little challenging. But like after day one, getting all the stuff out, and just because we haven't played football in a while, and running the actual plays that they gave us kind of helped out a lot. And so day two, I talked to Duke Manyweather, and he was telling me just like have more intent in everything I do. And so after I had that conversation with him, I turned to a whole different person. I started going out there, going hard, winning one-on-ones, dominating in the run game, and gaining a lot of those defensive lines respect. They're the ones that voted me the top offensive lineman of our group. And so that felt amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, also Coach Orgeron, Coach O, who was the LSU head coach when you guys won the Natty, and for some time after that was at the game. He was there that week. What was it like for you to have Coach O out there with you?
I love it because, I mean, he's a player's coach through and through, and he's an amazing coach. I don't care what anybody else says about him. He loves his players. He came in. We all came in together. He came in his first year that he was starting as a head coach. That was my freshman year, and to have him come, to have us both come in at the same time and leave at the same time, it's kind of amazing. Just because like he's been with me through my career, he's seen me grow. So he'll always be my head coach.
Oh, I love it. So now let's continue on in your path to the draft. You're going to the NFL Combine where I saw you, as I mentioned. And so you're doing the drills, more interviews, right? So, you had a 5.02 second 40-yard dash, 9th fastest of the offensive lineman. Very impressive. Tell us about, what was that Combine experience like for you?
The Combine was fun. Like I said, like just going into everything, not being too serious about it, knowing you have to get a job done, but also having fun with it. And so I came into it just knowing like, hey, I've been doing these drills all my life. Don't make nothing of it. Just on a stage, it's on TV, it's televised. And so I came in it just having fun. So after I ran a 40, I got the time. I was trying to get a 4.9, but I got this close to getting it. But I was still happy with my time I got. But everything else was I was just having fun with it, just enjoying the time.
Well, that's great. It's important, like we talked about, to have fun with what you're doing. That helps take the pressure off of things a little bit.
Exactly.
Now, there comes a time when football will come to an end at some point, hopefully not for many, many, many years. You graduated with a degree in sports administration. Have you thought about what you might want to do beyond football?
Yeah, actually, I want to open up an organization similar to the place I'm training at, and like kind of come full circle around with it, like train guys to where they can come to my facility, train for the draft, and get ready for that step in their life. And I also want to be a part of the virtual reality world and start, because I know that's starting to become a big thing. I want to open my own place to where people can come in and get a virtual reality experience, and that'll be cool too.
For sure. That sounds like lots of fun. I look forward to seeing that happen. So if a team were to ask you, Ed, why should they pick you over somebody else? What would you say?
I just tell them, like, of course, they know how athletic I am and my athletic ability. But I just tell them I'm a quick learner. I'm very coachable. I can mess up one thing and the coach tell me what to do right the next time, and I'll get it right. And so I feel like I'm very adjustable and I can take coaching easily.
Great answer. So now what I want to do is run you through my 2-minute drill and just ask you some fun questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Outside of football, what do you like to do?
I love to play games, as everybody knows, and I also love to do stuff to my car. So I drive a Dodge Charger. I don't know much stuff about cars right now, but that's something I want to get involved in as a hobby, so I can just start building cars and stuff. I want to build old cars up.
Nice. What is one thing most people don't know about you?
A lot of people don't know that my name was actually Thomas when I was born. And I ended up changing my name after my dad died to Edward. That was his middle name. And so now my name is Edward Thomas Ingram.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Next question is, what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
I'll say I'm humble, loyal, and protective.
Great 3 words. If you had one intro song played at all of your public appearances, what would that one song be?
It'll be Till I Collapse by Eminem. That always gets me fired up for a game.
Okay. Now, what is the best piece of advice that you've been given by a coach?
My offensive line coach told me to play and pretty much so my kids remember me the way I played. And so I don't want my kids to remember me as a person that gave half effort. I want my kids to remember me as a person that laid it on the field every time I was on the field.
Love it. And I'm going to flip it now and ask, what is the best piece of advice that you would give someone?
I give somebody pretty much like I always say, just like always have a smile on your face. Don't take life so seriously. Have fun with life. Life is not long for some people. You never know when it's your time. So just have fun with what you do.
Yes, and you've been smiling throughout this whole interview, so I know that smiling it's important. It's a good thing to do. So great piece of advice. The next question is: you're hosting a dinner party, and you can invite 3 famous people, living or deceased. Who would you choose, and why?
First off would be Serena Williams. That's like my celebrity crush. She has to be there.
Nice.
Samuel L. Jackson will be another one. That dude is freaking hilarious. Just to have some comedy at the table. And I'll say Barack Obama, just because I want to pick his brain and see how he took on leading a whole country by himself,
Sure. 3 great choices. And I'm glad that you had a female in there as well.
Yeah.
Most people don't include a female. So great to have. And Serena is an awesome person and athlete as well. All right. So my next question is, do you sing in the shower?
I actually don't sing in the shower, but I do listen to music.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen to music, yeah.
All right. And the last question is, where can people follow you? Where are you at on social media?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Both of my Twitter and my Instagram handle is edingram70. And my Snapchat is e.ingram. That's my Snapchat. So if y'all want to reach me, y'all can meet me there.
Perfect. And we'll have those in the show notes so people can follow you and connect. And thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
No problem. I had a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I wish you much success in this next chapter. I'm excited for the draft and looking forward to seeing all the great things you're going to do in the NFL.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to everyone for listening to today's episode. If you liked it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also share with a friend or two. That's one way that you can help me to move the ball. All right. Thanks so much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Until then, make sure that you suit up, you show up, and you move the ball.
Thank you for listening to Move the Ball. To see more about what I'm up to and how I can help you to move the ball in your business, with your brand, or your career, check out my website at www.getinsidethehuddle.com. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss an episode, and also join the Move the Ball Facebook group for even more content and to be a part of the Move the Ball movement.